Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video, I wanted to talk about natal Pluto square ascendant. So, you guys have been requesting a lot of ascendant aspects in the natal chart, and this is my first square to the ascendant. Now, the reason I haven't focused on ascendant aspects as much is because I feel like they are less powerful or less important than planet aspects. Now, with that being said, um, this square is probably the most difficult ascendant square, although I generally will say that ascendant squares are easier to deal with than planet squares. Same with like squares to the nodes or something like that, because these are not planets, they're points. So it manifests a little differently. Ascendant squares, it can manifest more relationally, almost kind of like an opposition in a way, but this is separate to the opposition aspect. I'll do separately, but yeah, so this is why I haven't focused on them yet. But even though I think they're less important or less difficult than, like, say, Sun square Pluto or Moon square Pluto or something like that, or Mercury, oh my gosh, it still is this one's pretty tough. So let's talk about it. So, the person with Pluto square ascendant can be kind of edgy. And this is edgy in a noticeable way. Like, others can definitely sense this, like, seething, emotional energy. Not always like in a negative way, but it's just like quite clear to the outside world that this person is especially intense. And like, also, the person with Pluto square ascendant can kind of incite fear in others. So, like, people can be afraid of you. And the person with Pluto square ascendant sometimes kind of likes that because it makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel safer, just knowing that, like, well, people aren't going to mess with you because they feel a bit afraid, or they feel a bit intimidated, or yeah, they're just hesitant to fully, like, open up and trust the Pluto square ascendant person. And a lot of that is because of the energy that they feel around you. The energy that you exude is incredibly it can feel volatile. Now, it's going to manifest differently, depending on the sign Pluto is in, the house Pluto is in. It's quite common to see, although not 100% of the time, if you're using house systems, that are not like equal house, or whole sign or whatever, which I don't use. I use Placidus. So it's not always that Pluto's in the fourth and 10th house, if you're using that one that I use, but it is, pretty common that Pluto will be either in the fourth or the 10th house. So, in that case, it's likely that the home environment, like the early home environment and upbringing, and the parental influence was something that imprinted the person with, like, this fear or this intensity or this need to, like, be on the offensive, which is what they can often do. So, yeah, there's something coming from childhood, quite likely, that made them feel very insecure or very, like, unsafe, even. Like, there could have been something even in birth, like when they were born, where it was like, just, like, and this isn't going to be in every case, but like, that the birth was difficult, or like they almost died or something, and like, like, this kind of intensity, like this, like, life or death energy is very present in the person with Pluto square ascendant. And that's like, it could be rooted, like I said, all the way back to like birth, or like, yeah, something about, because the ascendant is like the first breath, right? And like when you're born as a baby, right? That's why it's based on the exact time that you're born. And then with Pluto squaring it, there's like this element of like death, or intensity, like unconscious energy, going on here. So that's just one potential manifestation. But yeah, even if it's not that, these people definitely have a very like life or death attitude about most things and how they approach the world. And this could also manifest to in a few ways, but one way is that they're extremely hard on themselves. So this could show also someone who's very uncomfortable in their own expression, because the ascendant, the first house, is like how we express ourselves, like most naturally, like when we're not thinking about it, we just act like our ascendant. It's just like our primal response to the world that we took on as our first breath, like what we needed to be in this lifetime to really achieve the potentials of our natal chart. We took on that ascendant. So when we have Pluto square it, we can be incredibly hard on ourselves and feel like we're not doing enough, we're never doing enough. And I feel like it can contribute to also like social anxiety or fear in interacting with others, which there's two manifestations, okay? And these both can manifest in the same person, but like one manifestation is that you actually are more introverted and like shy and like socially awkward and self-conscious, like I said, like the social anxiety, because Pluto is always scrutinizing how you act, right? Like it's never good enough, you never act right, you're never quite able to express yourself. You can feel like a throat chakra block, like it never comes out right, what you say or what you do. Like you're just, you're awkward because Pluto is like forcing you to die and be reborn so many times in your life with it square your ascendant. So you feel, a bit uneasy when you're expressing yourself socially, or you're, just acting how you normally act. It's like you feel fear in that. So that's one manifestation. Now, the other manifestation is that you become so dominating and so overpowering to others, like because of that insecurity. It's like you don't let others breathe. You don't like, you're like interrogating people. You're like, and you don't realize that you're doing this, but it's another manifestation of it. So it's either like the totally like fearful, like awkward person, or like you're too bossy. You're too in other people's face. You're too I don't want to say too much because you're never too much for like the right people, but like sometimes with Pluto square the ascendant, you come off too strong, and you make people feel very invaded and like I said, interrogated, or like, and like a part of it is a gift. Like you are a natural detective. You see people's motives. You see what people are hiding. You see when people are feeling socially anxious themselves. You see when people are feeling insecurity, and like you can use that for egoic purposes. You can use that to make people feel bad about themselves. You can poke fun at other people's weaknesses because you can see them and you can pick them apart and you can scrutinize them. But other people can feel really unsafe around you. Like, that, like people always say like, I'm a safe space or whatever. That's like this new term, like with like trauma work and stuff. People are like, I'm a safe space. Well, people with Pluto square ascendant are an unsafe space. Before they've worked on it, right? Like not saying you have to be like this, but like sometimes just naturally people with Pluto square the ascendant can be an unsafe space. So that's something to work on, and it's not intentional. It's not really even like super conscious either. It's just like a reaction and a response, and like how you act is sometimes very overpowering and dominating. And like especially if Pluto's coming from the 10th, people with Pluto in the 10th house have a whole thing going on where like they want to be someone, they want to be powerful, right? They want to be famous, they want to be this leader. And sometimes people with Pluto in the 10th house can be, kind of authoritarian. And like then if Pluto square the ascendant, it's like, they'll do anything to kind of get to the top in any way. Now, not everybody, but in some cases, right? So, yeah, you can definitely come on too strong and be, yeah, kind of like an unsafe energy for other people when you have this square. Now that's when it's unintegrated, because this is actually so difficult, like with your expression, and like because you're going to notice people not reacting well to you, right? Like it's going to be very obvious that you have some relational difficulties. And if you have oppositions to Pluto to your personal planets and stuff like that, you might still blame the other person. But with this square just by itself, you probably will come to some self awareness of like, oh, maybe there's something wrong in the way that I'm acting, right? Maybe there's like something that I'm doing that is provoking this animosity, this like reaction from others, because you'll start to notice throughout your life that like people want to fight you. People are attacking you, people like, and there is also sometimes the case that like you are innocent and other people attack you, so that in some cases that is true, that you attract this plutonic behavior from others, because we have Pluto squaring the ascendant, but Pluto is also squaring the descendant, right? You can't have one without the other. You have to square both of those because they're opposite always, right? So it can show up as partners, and usually your partners are going to be equally plutonic, and that will be very difficult also. So you'll attract people that are also like this, like exactly, like to the T, right? So your relationships are not calming, not peaceful. One of my books says like this is a divorce aspect, right? And you could see why, because it's like you're this way in the way that you act, and then that's also the type of partner that you attract. So when you have two people that are like this, that's going to be very difficult. Now you could also attract another manifestation of this where it's like you're trying to change your partner, you're trying to make them better, you're trying to remold them. And actually not just with your partner, with everybody, you're kind of like, you can get into this place where you feel like you are the savior for everybody and you are going to fix them all. And then you can be quite bossy and domineering about that. Or you can attract that from other people, where other people are always trying to change you. You'll be like, that's your common complaint. Like, she was trying to change me, he was trying to change me. Everybody's just trying to intervene in my life, right? That's a common complaint of people with Pluto square the ascendant, without seeing how they also are doing this to people. So it's very interesting, and at the same time, like as bad and difficult as it sounds, I still feel like the other aspects in the natal chart take more weight. Like this is actually like, while this is all going on, other things can even be overpowering this. Like, so it's like not everybody with this square is just going to have like this whole life crisis about everything. It's just that they'll notice that the way people respond to them is very hostile, or they'll notice that they have this inner tension, this self-expression block, right? But it might not be the biggest thing in their chart. So with that being said, it could even be harder to resolve, because like the squares to your sun or squares to your moon are going to probably be felt more, but this will be very noticeable to others. And you can be difficult. You can be a difficult person. People with squares to Pluto, on the worst case scenario, can be very authoritarian, even like downright criminals, in some cases. But this one, not so much criminals, but just, trying to remake others, trying to assert dominance over others, trying to have authority, trying to be safe in your environment, because that's really what this is a root chakra thing. This is like a thing about grounding into the earth, and like what the remedy really is like feeling safe in your body. And these people can be really ungrounded and needing to like just go put your feet on the earth and just connect to earth. Hopefully you have some earth signs in your chart. Like grounding is going to heal you. Recognizing that not everything is an attack, not everybody's out to get you. And like if you can change your energy from the inside to like be more peaceful and be more loving and be more like kind, compassionate, forgiving, all these qualities, that's what you're going to start attracting from the outside. But it has to take place within you first, because before that point, it's just like what's coming out of you is coming back at you. And how many times does that have to happen before you can realize that you have some part in it? You know, um, it's common to have difficulties with authority figures as well, like bosses, things like that. Um, like I said, there could be a parent who was especially authoritarian, didn't like give you a feeling of safety, nurturing, and that's, part of where this feeling comes from, this root chakra lack, and once you've figured that out and you've kind of cleared that blockage and you're grounded, then you have this power because people notice you, right? Like that magnetism, it's not going to go away, but now it's like people can notice you in a positive way. People can notice you to be this like sexy, like, you have strong leadership, clearly. So, with just subtle tweaks, like I said, ascendant squares are not as hard to work out. Subtle tweaks, some grounding, some safety, some inner child work, and you are a powerhouse. You are this, charismatic leader. You're someone that people are very attracted to. People want to be around you. People want to hear what you have to say about them when you're not so dominating about it, right? So it's like waiting for the invitation, right? Like waiting for people to be like, yes, I'd like your insight. And then it will be received so much better when you have this. And you are psychic and you're in tune with things. And once those like root chakra fears are cleared, then your psychic abilities are coming from not fear and not thinking everybody's attacking you, but like true grounded perception and like being able to see things, being able to see what's dark. There is darkness in people, there is darkness in the world, and you're not wrong about seeing it, but you also have to see the light too. And that will bring you like that true integrated wholeness that you need with this square. So yeah, I'd love to know, you guys, what has it been like for you with this square? Sending you all the love and hugs, and thanks for the requests. Keep those requests coming. We'll talk soon. Bye.